The most dangerous manipulators do not fear anger, they fear emptiness. When you stop reacting, their control starves, their scripts collapse, and their hunger turns into panic because, for years, the toxic person studies your face like a thief studying a locked house. They learn your pauses, your soft spots, your need to explain, your need to be understood. That is their real currency. Not love, not respect, but emotional access. They want proof that they can still enter your mind whenever they choose. Grey rock destroys that privilege. It is not coldness for its own sake. It is strategic reduction. You become dull, brief, non-reactive, impossible to read. No outrage to harvest. No tears to monetize. No defense to twist. The toxic person expects a living, bleeding audience, and instead they meet a blank wall. At first they test you. They provoke. They bait. They throw emotional hooks into the water and wait for the familiar tug. But the line comes back dead. That silence is not passive to them. It is offensive. It says, your influence has ended. Their entire hierarchy begins to wobble. Think about your own life for a moment. The people who drain you are often not the ones shouting first. They are the ones who need a response from you to feel alive. They survive by creating emotional weather and then positioning themselves as the only shelter. Grey rock works because it interrupts the feed loop. Toxic personalities run on reaction, fear, pleading, explanation, guilt, anger, confusion. If they can move your nervous system, they can steer your behavior. But when your face becomes unreadable, when your voice becomes flat, when your answers lose all emotional fuel, they lose the steering wheel. That loss triggers panic. Not because they suddenly care about you, but because they can no longer locate themselves through your response. To an emotionally parasitic mind, being ignored is not a minor inconvenience. It is existential injury. It feels like the room losing oxygen. And here is where the mask starts to crack. They may escalate, become more charming, more cruel, more theatrical. They are not evolving, they are decomposing under pressure. The blank wall is devastating because it removes the mirror. Toxic people often construct identity by watching how others absorb them. They need your flinch to confirm their power, your explanation to confirm their importance, your distress to confirm their impact. When none of that arrives, the fantasy dies. What remains is the raw machinery beneath the performance. A frightened, dependent system that cannot tolerate unrewarded attention. This is why they sometimes intensify contact after you go grey rock. They may text more, hover closer, resurrect old memories, or manufacture emergencies. They are not reaching for intimacy. They are fighting extinction. The most chilling part is that many toxic people do not understand their own behavior consciously. They just know the discomfort is unbearable. Your calm becomes a verdict. Your neutrality becomes a mirror they cannot stand to face. They feel the absence of their own power before they can name it. And that is why the blank wall is not weakness. It is a boundary so complete it begins to look like death to anyone addicted to control. The second collapse happens when they cannot provoke shame. Manipulators love shame because shame makes people volunteer their own chains. It drives over-explaining, apologizing, self-doubt, and emotional leakage. Grey rock starves shame by refusing drama. When you stop defending your inner world, the toxic person loses their favorite weapon. They can no longer force you into a courtroom where they are judge, jury, and executioner. They can accuse you, but accusations need a stage. They can insult you, but insults need a wound. The blank wall gives them nothing to strike, so they often shift tactics. They may smear your name, recruit allies, or pretend you are the problem for becoming distant. This is projection with a mask on. They accuse you of what they are experiencing: abandonment, irrelevance, powerlessness. Look carefully at that reversal. The more effective your silence becomes, the more absurd their behavior looks. They begin performing desperation in public while claiming calm in private. That contradiction is the tell. Control is gone, and panic is wearing expensive clothes. Grey rock is not a personality. It is a survival protocol. Use it when the situation demands minimal emotional exposure, especially with people who exploit honesty, empathy, or conflict. Keep responses short, neutral, and boring. Do not over-explain. Do not feed the argument. Do not supply the theater. But understand the deeper truth. Grey rock is not about winning a social game. It is about refusing to hand your nervous system to someone who treats it like a marketplace. The toxic person panics because you become unavailable as a source of stimulation, validation, and control. Their supply dies. Their certainty dies. Their performance loses its audience. And once that audience disappears, the spell breaks. What looked like power was always dependency wearing a mask. What looked like confidence was always appetite dressed as authority. The blank wall does not attack, it simply remains. And for the manipulator, that is unbearable. If you want to understand these dynamics at a deeper level and defend yourself with precision, to master these tactics in real life, get the Silent Observer's Playbook, or check out the recommended reading in the description below. Like and don't forget to subscribe for more. Subscribe for more.